nothing and nobody will ever affect you again. There comes a silent turning point in a man's life. No announcement. No applause. No visible transformation to the outside world. But internally, everything changes. It is the moment he realizes that he has been living at the mercy of other people's opinions. Their approval makes him feel worthy. Their rejection makes him question himself. Their silence makes him anxious. Their attention makes him feel alive. And suddenly, he sees it clearly. He has not been in control of his life. He has been reacting. Reacting to texts. Reacting to tone. Reacting to disrespect. Reacting to validation. Like a puppet. Controlled by invisible strings. And then comes the awakening. Nothing and nobody will ever affect me again. Not out of bitterness, but out of clarity. Because when you truly observe people, you begin to understand something uncomfortable. Most people are inconsistent. Today they love you. Tomorrow they ignore you. Next week they doubt you. Next month, they need you again. So why would you anchor your emotional state to something so unstable? This is where mental sovereignty begins. The realization that your emotions should not be rented out to the world. Think about it. Every time someone disrespects you, and you react emotionally, you've handed them power. Every time someone ignores you and you feel insecure, you've surrendered control. Every time someone praises you and you become dependent on it, you've made yourself weak. Because dependence, whether on love, attention, validation, or approval, is a form of slavery. And most people are emotionally enslaved. They don't act based on logic. They act based on how others make them feel. They chase people who ignore them. They avoid people who challenge them. They perform for attention. They shrink to be accepted. And in doing so, they lose themselves. But the man who decides that nothing and nobody will affect him again, he becomes different. He begins to observe instead of react. When someone disrespects him, he doesn't explode. He studies. He asks, what does this reveal about them? Not, what does this say about me? This shift alone is power. Because the moment you stop taking things personally, you become dangerous. You see through manipulation. You recognize patterns. You understand that people's actions are reflections of their internal state, not your worth. Someone disrespects you. Someone ignores you. Someone betrays you. It reflects their character. None of it defines you, but only if you are strong enough not to internalize it. And this is where most people fail. Because detachment is not easy. It requires discipline. It requires awareness. It requires the ability to pause. In moments where your emotions are screaming at you to react, because your first instinct will always betray you. Your ego will want to defend. Your pride will want to respond. Your emotions will want to express. But power lies in restraint. The ability to feel everything and show nothing. Not because you are weak, but because you are in control. Understand this deeply. Not every battle deserves your energy. Not every comment deserves your response. Not every situation deserves your attention. Not every person deserves access to you. And once you accept this, you begin to conserve your energy. You become selective with your time, with your words, with your reactions, because you understand something most people never will. Your energy is your currency. And every time you react unnecessarily, you are spending it on people who haven't earned it, on situations that don't matter, on emotions that don't serve you. So you begin to withdraw. Not physically, but emotionally, you are present, but untouchable. People speak. You listen, but you are not moved. People provoke. You see it, but you are not triggered. People praise, and you hear it, but you are not dependent on it. You exist in a state of control. And this confuses people. Because they are used to reactions. They are used to emotional responses. They are used to being able to influence how others feel. But with you, they can't. And that unsettles them. Because when they cannot read you, they cannot control you. This is why indifference is powerful. Not loud anger. Not dramatic reactions. Not emotional outbursts. But calm, controlled, unbothered presence. The kind that says, I see everything, but I choose what deserves my response. This is not weakness. This is mastery. And as you continue on this path, something unexpected happens. You begin to feel lighter. Because you are no longer carrying other people's opinions, other people's expectations, other people's projections. You are no longer trying to prove yourself. And in that freedom, you become dangerous. Because now, you act based on intention, not emotion. You move based on purpose, not validation. You can speak when necessary, not when triggered. And slowly, your life begins to change. Because the world treats you differently. When it realizes it cannot affect you. People respect what they cannot control. People admire what they cannot shake. People fear what they cannot manipulate. And you become all three. But understand this. This path is lonely. Because emotional independence separates you from the crowd. You will no longer relate to drama. You will no longer engage in unnecessary conversations. You will no longer tolerate low-level behavior. And that distance will be misunderstood.
Some will call you cold.
Some will call you proud. Some will say you've changed. And they are right. You have changed. You are no longer available for emotional exploitation. You are no longer accessible to people who bring chaos. You are no longer reactive to things that once controlled you. And that is growth. So, from this moment forward, you make a decision. You will feel, but you will not be ruled by your feelings. You will observe, but you will not absorb everything you see. You will engage, but only where it aligns with your peace. Because peace is no longer negotiable. And once you reach this level, you will understand something powerful. Nothing and nobody will ever affect you again, unless you allow them to. The power of strategic silence and emotional control. Most people think power is loud. They think it is in shouting, in proving a point, in reacting quickly, in always having the last word. But real power is quiet. It is the ability to sit in a moment of tension and say nothing, because silence is not empty. It is calculated. When you stop reacting the way people expect, you disrupt their control. Understand this. People don't just interact with you. They test you. They test your patience. They test your confidence. They test your boundaries. They test how far they can go before you react. And every time you react emotionally, you give them data. You tell them, this is how to trigger me. This is how to control me. This is where I am weak. But when you respond with silence, you give them nothing. And nothing is terrifying. Because now they cannot read you. They cannot predict you. They cannot manipulate you. This is why Machiavellian thinking emphasizes control over expression. Not everything you feel should be revealed. Not every thought should be spoken. Not every situation deserves your reaction. Because expression without control is exposure, and exposure creates vulnerability. Think of it like this. A man who shows all his emotions freely is easy to understand. And a man who is easy to understand is easy to control. But a man who reveals only what is necessary becomes unpredictable. And unpredictability is power. This is where strategic silence comes in. Strategic silence is not weakness. It is not fear. It is not lack of confidence. It is intentional restraint. It is choosing not to react, even when you can. Imagine someone tries to provoke you. They expect anger. They expect defense. They expect engagement. But instead, you look at them, calm, unmoved, unbothered, and you say nothing. In that moment, the power shifts, because now they are exposed. They begin to feel uncomfortable. They begin to question themselves. They begin to lose control. Because the reaction they were counting on never came. And when people cannot get a reaction from you, they lose interest in trying to control you. This is why silence is dangerous. It forces people to confront themselves. It denies them access to your emotional state. And, most importantly, it protects your energy. Because not every situation deserves your voice. Some situations deserve your absence. And this is another level of power most people ignore. The ability to withdraw. Not dramatically. Not emotionally. But silently. You stop engaging. You stop explaining. You stop reacting. You simply, remove yourself. And this does two things. First, it protects your peace. Second, it creates value. Because in a world where everyone is constantly available, scarcity becomes power. When you are always present, you are taken for granted. When you are always responding, you are expected. When you are always explaining, you are predictable. But when you withdraw, you become rare. And people value what is rare. This is why emotional independence is attractive. Not just in relationships, but in life. Because people are drawn to those who do not need them. There is a quiet confidence in someone who is not desperate for attention, who does not chase validation, who does not react to every situation. That confidence commands respect. But understand this. This is not about playing games. This is about self-mastery. Because if your silence is forced, it will break. If your calm is fake, it will collapse. If your detachment is an act,
It will be exposed.
so the goal is not to pretend. The goal is to become. To reach a level where you genuinely do not feel the need to react. You genuinely do not care about trivial opinions. You genuinely value your peace over temporary satisfaction. Because reacting may feel good in the moment, but it often costs you long term. You lose composure. You lose control. You reveal too much. But silence. Silence preserves everything. Your image. Your control. Your power. And over time, people begin to notice. They realize you are not easily shaken. You are not easily influenced. You are not easily controlled. And that realization changes how they treat you. Because people adjust their behavior based on what they think they can get away with. If you react emotionally, they push further. If you remain calm, they become cautious. If you are unpredictable, they become respectful. And if you are completely unaffected, they become careful. This is how power works. Not through force, but through perception. And perception is shaped by your behavior. So if you want to become someone that nothing and nobody can affect, you must master this. Control what you show. Control what you say. Control what you respond to. Because once you control these, you control how the world interacts with you. And when you reach that level, you will notice something powerful. You no longer feel the need to win arguments. You no longer feel the need to prove yourself. You no longer feel the need to respond to everything. Because you understand, not everything is worth your attention.
And attention
Is power.
So
You become selective. You give it only to what matters. And everything else becomes invisible. This is how you move differently. This is how you become untouchable. This is how you reach a state where nothing and nobody will ever affect you again. Because you no longer give them the access to do so. Emotional detachment versus emotional intelligence. The unbreakable mind. There is a mistake many people make. when they hear, "Nothing and nobody will ever affect you again." They think it means becoming cold. They think it means shutting down. They think it means not feeling anything at all. That is not power. That is damage. Because a man who feels nothing cannot connect, cannot lead, cannot understand. And if you cannot understand people, you cannot navigate them. So the goal is not to eliminate emotions. The goal is to master them. There is a difference between emotional detachment and emotional intelligence. Detachment says, "I will not let this control me." Emotional intelligence says, "I understand what is happening, and I choose my response." One protects you. The other empowers you. And when combined, they make you dangerous. Because now, you don't just resist influence. You understand it. You begin to see patterns in people. You notice how insecurity speaks loudly. How arrogance hides weakness. How disrespect often masks inferiority. How attention-seeking reveals emptiness. You stop reacting and start decoding. This is where your power multiplies. Because when you understand why people behave the way they do, you stop taking things personally. And when nothing is personal, nothing can shake you. Let's go deeper. When someone disrespects you, the average person reacts. Anger, ego, defense. But the disciplined mind asks, what is driving this behavior? Is it insecurity? Is it jealousy? Is it a need for validation? Is it a lack of discipline? Because most disrespect is not about you. It is about them. But only the emotionally intelligent can see that. And because they see it, they don't overreact. They respond strategically. Sometimes with silence. Sometimes with distance. Sometimes with precise, controlled words. But never with uncontrolled emotion. Because uncontrolled emotion is a loss of power. Now understand this. Not reacting does not mean tolerating everything. This is where many people get it wrong. Being unbothered does not mean being weak. You can be calm and still set boundaries. You can be silent and still walk away. You can be detached and still remove people from your life. Power is not in enduring disrespect. Power is in choosing how you deal with it. Sometimes the strongest move is not confrontation. It is absence. Because when you remove your presence, you remove your value. And people only understand value when it is gone. This is psychological reality. Humans are wired to appreciate what they lose more than what they have. So, when you are always available, always forgiving, always reacting, you reduce your perceived value. But when you become selective, when you become disciplined, when you become unavailable to nonsense, you increase it. And this is where influence begins. Because influence is not about forcing people. It is about controlling how they perceive you. And perception is shaped by your behavior. If you are emotional, you are seen as unstable. If you are reactive, you are seen as predictable. If you are desperate, you are seen as low value. But if you are calm, controlled, selective, you are seen as powerful, even if you say nothing. This is why some people command respect without speaking. Their presence communicates everything. And that presence is built through discipline. Now let's talk about something deeper. Mental resilience. Because it is easy to be calm when everything is going well. But the real test is when life hits you. Disappointment, rejection, betrayal, failure. These are the moments that reveal who you truly are. The average person breaks. They react emotionally. They lose control. They make impulsive decisions. But the disciplined mind remains stable. Not because it doesn't feel pain, but because it has trained itself not to be ruled by it. This is what it means to be unbreakable. Not invincible. Not emotionless. But stable under pressure. You feel everything. But you respond with control. You experience setbacks. But you maintain direction. You face challenges. But you do not lose yourself. This is the highest level of power. Because life will test you. People will test you. Situations will try to shake you. But
when you reach this level,
you remain the same. Focused. Calm. Unmoved. And over time, this consistency builds something powerful. Reputation. People begin to see you as unshakable, unpredictable, uncontrollable. And once that perception is established, your influence increases without effort. Because people respect what they cannot break. Now understand this final truth for this part. You do not become unaffected overnight. This is a process. You will still feel triggered at times. You will still want to react. You will still be tested. But each time, you choose control over reaction. You get stronger. Each time, you choose silence over impulse. You get sharper. Each time, you choose discipline over emotion. You get closer to becoming someone that nothing and nobody can affect. And when you reach that point, you will realize something powerful. The world didn't change. People didn't change. Situations didn't change. You did.